Hey there. Hi. Hey there. Good Thursday evening to you, everybody. I'm Reverend Lynn Chaplin-Noe, and this is your weekly faith lift, or uplift, whatever it is. Anyway, today I'm talking about worry. Yeah, I bet you don't worry, do you? I never worry. I'm a mother. I never stop worrying. So, the title of my talk is What Me Worry. Remember that from Mad Magazine. And it's about the creativity of worry. And let's look at it this way. Worry is like a good old rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but doesn't get you anywhere. That's worry, right? Imagine um, imagine if you had a suitcase and you filled a suitcase full of a bunch of stuff that you don't use and you just hold it around all the time, this big old heavy suitcase. Well, don't be surprised when you start complaining about your back aching that people tell you to just drop the darn suitcase. And that's what worry is like. Worry is like hauling around a suitcase. It's like hauling around a suitcase full of junk that you never use, and it doesn't get you anywhere. It weights you down. It You have no purpose other than hauling around this suitcase full of junk that you never use. Gosh, excuse me. I'll give you an example of what I used to worry about a lot. When I was a dancer, I hated auditioning. I really, really hated auditioning. It, it, it caused me so much worry. I would stay up at night. I would worry about everything that could possibly happen in an audition. Were the other girls pretty? Um, let's see. Would I remember the combination? Or what if I knew the choreographer and worked with him before and he didn't like me, which is a terrible thing. That never happens. What if they asked me to tap dance? I don't tap dance. What if, all the what ifs? And I'd worry about these things. Worry's creative, you know, if it's really creative if you're really good at it. And I was really good at worrying. I would agonize over these auditions. And most of the things I worried about did happen. Sure, the other girls were prettier. I always forgot the combination. And I was asked to tap dance a few times. I got around that, and the amazing thing was that I almost always got the job. Besides all of my considerations and all of my worry and all of that fretting and all of that agonizing, I would get the jobs. And turned out that in my career, I it, the time came in my career that I didn't have to audition, that people knew who I was. And that's because I said to myself, I don't want to audition anymore. I just can't stand it. I can't stand auditioning. And luckily for me, I never had to audition later on in my career. So that was good. But okay, there's only creativity. We're creative creatures. It's our nature. We are created by the creator who acts upon itself, and we are divine individualized expressions of the creator. Our nature is to create. And a few years ago, I did a talk about creativity, and I decided to crowdsource a question on Facebook. So I wrote the one question. I said, just give me your response to this. And I sent it out to just about everybody I know, a lot of ministers and a lot of practitioners and a lot of friends. And I said, what is the absence of creativity? And almost without exception, everyone said ostensibly, there's no absence of creativity. There is only creativity. Now think about that. Think about the world that we live in, and that we are the creation. We are the creation. So, because we are the creation and we are created in the image and likeness of the Creator, then we are by nature creative creatures. And so, when I say worry is creative, then it's creative. So if I'm going to worry, and that's what I'm putting my focus on, then I can expect things to manifest that I don't like. And there are a lot of things that you can worry about, but that's time travel. You know what I mean? Worry is time travel. Worry is living in the future. And the only time that we're creative, the only time that we have power is in the now. Who said that? I forget who said that. Katie said that. The only power we have is in the now. So if you want to be a time traveler and live in the future, there's no guarantee. There is no future. There's only the now. And if the things I worried about came true, then I created an environment, a mental environment, or the mold, as Dr. Holmes says, for that to take form. And so, what do I want to do? Do I want to be a time traveler, or do I want to be a student of truth, which I am? And so, I want to be in the now. So, why aren't we putting all of our focus in the now, if that's where the power is? What do I want? If we want success, if we want right relationship, if we want health, if we want prosperity, if we want ideal employment, then focus on that. Accepting it in the now. Say thank you that your desires or something better is showing up for you in the now. So if there's something that you're worried about, turn it around and say thank you, Spirit, for revealing this wonderful, wonderful employment. Thank you, Spirit, for revealing this right relationship or this prosperity that I'm experiencing in the now. Just say thank you. So what is your thought process when you find yourself worrying? How do you worry? I know, when I worry, I go to sleep, I go to bed, I lie there, and I think about a test that I failed in high school. I think about that stuff. And then if I've got something coming up, I start to worry about it. And I create, do you do this? Do you create a scenario? Do you put words in the mouths of others in the future during your worry rant? Do you create scenarios? Do you create fantasies? Worst case scenarios? Remember that book? They used to have a book called Worst Case Scenarios. And those books sold like wild cakes. Wild cakes? Wildfire. Like pancakes, hot cakes. Whatever it is, they sold. Worst case scenario. People bought these things because people identify with the worst case scenario. So that's my process. I choreograph stuff. I write, direct. I'm the author and the orator of my worst fears. Fears. Okay. Fear. Do we worry because we're afraid of what might happen? Okay. The promise is sometimes a threat of what might happen. Did you think of that? If you're afraid of failure, that makes sense, but sometimes we're afraid of success. What if I get there? What if I get the job? What if I really do it? What if I'm really heard and seen? What if it changes me? Fear of success. If if. I'll tell you a story, and I've told this story before. I've told it at the center when I've been giving talks. And this is a great example of how fear and how worry and anxiety drive us. So I was very worried about something that was going to happen. I had to give a proposal to the head of distribution for an event that I had created at Universal Studios. I had to go up to this office in the big black tower and give this woman my proposal. And I was worried. As Mama would say, I was worried sick. And I was worried sick about this. It was really scary. This was a big, powerful woman. And I was excited to meet a powerful woman. She was really important at Universal. But I went into all kinds of scenarios. I was really terrified, shaking. So I was in the parking lot of Universal Studios, and I had been reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. So I grabbed my Power of Now. I was just on the chapter where he was talking about addressing a worry and fear and living in the future. The Power of Now is the name of the book, obviously. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this exercise that he suggests. And it was one simple question that I had to ask of myself and continue to answer the question. The question was, what is the worst thing that could happen? So I was going up to make this proposal to the head of distribution at Universal. So I was worried sick. And I asked myself, sitting in my car at Universal Studios parking lot, what's the worst thing that could happen? And I immediately said, I could die. So I asked myself the question again, what is the worst thing that could happen? And I said, I answered myself with, well, it's not likely that I could die unless I die of mortification. So I asked myself the question again, what is the worst thing that could happen? And I answered again, well, it's not likely that I could die of mortification, but I could certainly throw up in her office. So I asked myself the question again, what's the worst thing that could happen? And I said, what did I say? I was not likely that I could throw up, but she could instantly take a disliking to me. So I asked myself again, what's the worst thing that could happen? And I said, it's not likely that she'll take a dislike to me. In fact, she might be very interested in what I have to say. So I asked myself again, what's the worst thing that could happen? And the more I asked myself, the more realistic my answers became, and the more ludicrous the worry became. Because it was obvious, I knew what I was doing. I had a good product. I was going to an office where someone had asked me to come to their office, and it was very likely that I would have a successful meeting. Well, here's what happened. I went into the office, shook her hand, sat down, and I saw a picture of a dog on her desk. And I said, oh my gosh, what a great doggy. She said, are you a dog person? I said, oh yeah, am I a dog person? I have a little Maltese. This was when I had Humphrey the Maltese. I had this little Maltese, and she said, well, this is right. And we started talking about our animals. And we got sidetracked talking about animals. And then she said, I'm sorry. She said, we're not doing business. Tell me about this event that you want to do. So I told her about this wonderful Hollywood murder mystery I wanted to do at the Ritz-Carlton with her group. And she said, well, that sounds like fun. Let's go into the other office and talk to my superior. I thought she was the big kahuna. She said, no, let's talk to my superior. So we went into that woman's office, at which point this woman that I've been talking to said, Lynn is a dog person. And this very important woman in the big corner office said, oh, really? What kind of dog do you have? I said, I have a Maltese Humphrey. And we started talking about dogs. And then the other lady said, well, let's talk about business. Lynn has this great idea. We ended up hugging at the end of the meeting. They ended up doing the event. It could not have gone better. And all of the worry I talked down, as Eckhart Tolle had suggested. All of my considerations became ludicrous. The worry became ludicrous. Got the job. So that's one exercise. You know, our brains are wired for negativity, meaning that no matter what we say, we tend to see the glass half empty. No matter what we do, we let our thoughts and our worries tell us the negative scenario that's definitely going to happen. Our imaginations are wired toward negativity, and being wired toward negativity, it's a survival mechanism, and this is what keeps us alert. It keeps us prepared for fight or flight. This is the part of our brain that made it possible for us to survive millions and millions and millions of years of evolution, millions of years of evolution to come back where we are right now. You know, it's what gave us our intuition and the courage to fight dinosaurs and diplodocuses and all of those scary things, woolly mammoths. We should be grateful because it's a skill that helped us to fight the beasts that were attacking us. And we can change our wiring by changing our thoughts. Focus on the present moment with all of its creativity and promise. And don't worry, just be happy. What if you just contain your worrying thoughts, set them aside sometime for yourself, and go ahead and overthink everything? Everything that could go wrong. Set aside 10 or 15 minutes and say, I'm going to give you 10 or 15 minutes to go over everything that could go wrong. And then overthink. Just go for it. Overthink everything. Look at all the aspects. Picture all the possible outcomes and all the versions, full scale, vivid daydreaming. Imagine all that stuff. And when your time is up, when your 10 or 15 minutes is up, the luxury of overthinking is up also. Then remind yourself of the good that is waiting for you right there in the now. So it's legal. You can do it. You can overthink. I love this quote. What if I fall? And oh, my darling, what if you fly? Isn't that nice? What if I fall? Oh, my darling, what if you fly? So don't worry. Be happy. What, me worry? I'm only human. There you go. And that's all about worry we're going to worry about tonight, okay? Well, it's 7:19, and what I'd like to do is talk to you guys just a moment about this Sunday at our center. This Sunday at our center, our beloved Reverend Pamela Gagan, is giving her last talk. She'll be on the podium with Dr. Sue Rubin, and she'll be giving her last talk. And then there's going to be a huge celebration, a barbecue. We are famous for our barbecues at the Center for Spiritual Living, Pleasant Valley. So there's going to be a barbecue. So I want you all to consider. I know you're out there watching us, and if you're in LA or if you're in Camarillo or you're in the area and you've never stepped foot in our center before, come out Sunday and watch Reverend Pam talk live and in person in our beautiful sanctuary, and then stay for the barbecue. And there'll be so many people. It's going to be such a joyous event. We're so happy for Reverend Pamela Gagan, who's moving into a new phase, a new um, a new wonderful adventure is ahead for her. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like it might be pretty interesting, and so we want to celebrate with her. You'll have an opportunity also to meet our new spiritual leader, who is a Reverend Kelly Bershinsky. So lots going on. So I'd like to just put the bug in your ear. And there is a charge for the barbecue because there's going to be a lot of food. And I have the number for you to go to PayPal or Zelle, and that is, so write this down. It's www.csl Pleasant Valley, all one word, pleasantvalley.org. So it's www.csl-pleasantvalley.org. And so go on that, see where it talks about the adventure this Sunday, and PayPal or Zelle, and it's $20 for this wonderful party. And I can't, and Alberto Del Pino is going to be playing the guitar. It's going to be an incredible event. So I just wanted to take enough time to really tell you that this is your opportunity to see Reverend Pam in person. She's wonderful, and I'm already missing her, as you can see. It's um, it's a momentous occasion. Change is around the corner, and we just want to show our appreciation to Reverend Pam. So 10:30 Sunday morning. Of course, you got on this, so if you want to watch on Facebook Live, same address that got you to this live experience with me. 10:30 in the morning. At 11:30, we'll be done with the service, at which point we'll go right into the wonderful party and barbecue. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I would love to see you there. So that was the big pitch, because I want you to be able to see Reverend Pam live and in person. Okay? So, what me worry? Yeah, not worried at all. But I'd be thrilled to see you this coming Sunday at our service. Until then, I love you, each and every one of you, and so begins the lesson.